This is All of It. I'm Allison Stewart, live from the WNYC studios in Soho. Thank you for sharing part of your day with us. I'm grateful that you're here. On today's show, the band Cure for Paranoia. They won this year's NPR Tiny Desk Concert Competition, and they will perform live in studio. And the Emmy nominations are out. We'll speak with three actors who star in the nominated series The Pit: Noah Wyle, Kathleen Lanasa, and Luke Tenney. That's the plan, so let's get this started with a new play, The Loved Ones. The scene is a farmhouse in West Clare on the coast of Ireland. It is owned by a quiet woman named Nell. Nell isn't alone exactly. She runs an Airbnb. But she is lonely because Nell is grieving the death of her adult son, Robin, who was a professor at a city university. The weekend has come when Nell's daughter-in-law, Orla, is about to arrive at Nell's house to spread Robin's ashes. The problem is Nell forgets that she has an Airbnb-er, an American birder who just won't leave. And then an unexpected guest shows up, a 20-something pregnant student named Gabby who had an affair with Nell's son months before he died. That sets up the story called The Loved Ones. The play is a take on the two-hander, only it's a four-hander, each character handling bereavement in their own way, all while keeping secrets. One reviewer wrote, "The Irish rep strikes gold with the insightful and incisive The Loved Ones. Erica Murray's beautifully written new play is as spiritually generous as it is smart and entertaining." The Loved Ones is playing at the Irish Repertory Theatre on West 22nd in Chelsea until August 2nd. I'm joined by its cast members, Marianne Plunkett, Alana Raquel Bowers, and Claire O'Malley. Thank you so much for coming to the studio on a show day for you. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Marianne, how would you describe Nell?
I think Nell is of the elements. She's of the earth and the sea. She has lived a contained life, as we discover in the play. Shame figures into it highly. And I think she is elemental. That's fierce and elemental.
Alana and Gabby decide she's going to show up pregnant on Nell's doorstep. What is on her mind? What is she thinking?
I feel like what brings her to Ireland is what ends up connecting Gabby and Nell at the end of the play. There is a deep amount of shame that Gabby feels that she cannot share with her loved ones. And so she comes to Ireland assuming that she has the answers to this, what she considers to be a blip, a blip in her dream, in her schedule, in her life. And she learns that this is just the beginning of understanding what it means to face yourself and face your problems and be an adult. I think she is at the brink of adulthood, and this is one of those difficult issues that we come across, whether or not it be obviously like a pregnancy or something that involves needing to reflect and look at yourself and be honest about who you are and what you need to do. So I think she is confident at the beginning of this play that she will get her way. And by the end, she realizes that it's not that simple.
Claire, we hear a lot about Orla, mostly from her mother-in-law, Nell. We expect her to be really high-strung, but when we meet her, we see a different side of her. What is her relationship to her mother-in-law, Nell?
Oof. Well, how long have you got? I love the fact that you hear a lot about Orla before you meet her, and then when you meet her, you get to make your own judgment of her. I believe right before this, Robin, my husband, has passed 6 months ago, and there was a issue at the funeral that has really caused a large rift between the two of us. So when we first meet in this play, we have not seen each other since the death of Robin, which is huge. And then as the play develops, obviously we learn more about what Orla has been through and what she's currently facing. And it's really fun to play with the audience and play with the initial expectation of who you think someone is, and then learning more and deeper about someone and kind of changing your opinion. And I love what Erica, the playwright, has done with all those characters and how she does that.
Yeah, because it's interesting. In the play, when Orla meets Gabby, she's really kind towards Gabby.
Of course.
Why does she show kindness towards Gabby? She doesn't know anything about Gabby's, what she's done or has a relationship with her ex-husband. But
Orla is a kind person. This is what, she's a good person, and you see that in her actions. I mean, even when Orla finds out that Gabby has, should I give spoilers? Maybe not.
Maybe not.
When Orla finds out something large, she still takes care of Gabby.
Yeah.
No matter, so you really see who she is by her actions. And she's a kind person. Yes, she's been through a lot and she may be a bit prickly because of that, but she's well within her right to be feeling all of the things.
Nell has made some very hard choices in her life. What do you think has affected her the most?
Wow. Some of the choices she made were not really choices.
Yeah.
Gabby asks her at one time, was it, like magic growing up here with all this space around? And I think so. We didn't really have any other option. So she ended up living on the farm of her family. I picture that she ran the farm with her parents until they died. She then moved back into the main house and raised Robin from whatever stage that was. I think her choices have been in thinking of choices that she stays to herself. I think she reads a lot. I think, she's so proud of saying, I was studying up in Galway at the time when she got pregnant that one night, and she's a smart woman. So she has not gone out into the world. She has her friend Stevie, however, who runs the guest house in the village, but they're not bosom buddies. They're just there. She will see her occasionally. I think she lives a very solitary life, and the Airbnb, it provides so the house is not completely empty, but you don't have to really become friends with people. You make sure the bedroom is clean. You make sure there's tea or coffee. You make sure there are snacks. You make sure, we're here. Go to this place. Go to that place. So there's not silence. But I think her choice, as it might be, has been to just, she contains herself. She's proud of her son teaching in London. Yeah. And just to speak of Orla, Nell loves Orla. Within a family, there may be people that they're different from each other.
Yes.
You go, this is, Orla is, she's pursuing something different. She dresses elegantly. She is elegant. Nell never reached that point. Nell is mucking, the sheep stuff and fixing fences. And it's a different person, but she loves her profoundly.
Alana, did you have a backstory for Gabby when you arrived at this character?
Well, I think Nicola, the director, had us do this exercise where the sort of like pebbles in the stream exercise, where you start where your character, like when your character was born, and that's the beginning of the stream, and the end of the stream is where we find the character in the play. At the beginning of the play, beginning of the play. And so the pebbles in the stream are major events that help to shape the journey that this person, this character, goes on for them to reach the end of the stream. And so I think it was crucial for me to lean into that exercise, because what makes a girl from Lewisham travel to Ireland to her dead teacher's mother's house and drop this information and really believe, like authentically believe, that this plan is going to work? I needed that to make sense.
Yeah.
So it was necessary for me to do a lot of backstory. And what I've come to in my own research and with the help of that exercise and of all of us just trying to make sense of how our characters have arrived at where we find them in the beginning, Gabby is so smart. She is the oldest of 4 children. We learn in the play that she has 3 younger brothers. We also learn that her mother had her when she was very young as well, which is one of the reasons why she is petrified, why telling her mother is not an option. It's not even that she's afraid. It's not an option at the beginning of the play. And that creates a lot of pressure. Gabby is under a lot of stress and pressure, which leads to, and no spoilers, but which leads to what ends up happening to her, because she has been holding not only the information, but the idea of being pregnant. So she hasn't really been looking after herself. She hasn't been taking this seriously. She's in school. She wants to finish her exams before she does anything else. She's determined. She is I have this fun thing that I do with myself where I create, I do the big 3 zodiac signs for all my characters. And so ever since, I guess, I did a show back at the Signature in like 2023, and it was hard for me to get into that character. So I started doing it then, and I've done it for every single character, and it's so helpful because it takes, I know my characteristics of who I am and why I am the way that I am, particularly through my zodiac signs. And so when I can take that off and put something else on, it really helps me get into the world of this person who is either could be very similar to me or very different, but I can enter into their brains and their isms and their like idiosyncrasies through knowing what their sun, moon, and rising signs are. And so doing that with Gabby with these exercises in the room, and also understanding the stakes for her, is how I was able to create a backstory that hopefully helps to justify her actions.
Is she a Taurus, a Leo?
Gabby is a Libra sun. She is a Capricorn moon and a Taurus rising.
If you understand that, great. We're talking about the play The Loved Ones at the Irish Rep. 4 women find themselves grieving together and facing a new reality. My guests are 3 of the show's actors, Marianne Plunkett, Alana Raquel Bowers, and Claire O'Malley. Claire, I'm going to ask you about the 4th character in this play, Cheryl Ann, played by Donalyn Champlin, who couldn't be here today. She's the only American in the play. She's a guest at Nell's Airbnb. She loves birds.
Yes.
Yeah.
How would you describe her in a few words?
Oh, bright, optimistic, soulful, insightful, intelligent, emotionally intelligent.
Doesn't read a room right.
No,
She does not know how to read a room. I'm sorry.
No. You know what's funny, when you first said the 4th character in the play, I actually thought my husband, Robin, and I was like, I can't wait
interesting.
I was like, I can't wait to talk about my husband. And but okay, so Cheryl Ann is, I believe, the heart of the show. She truly, she really doesn't know how to read a room. And it's interesting. I didn't see the production when it was in Ireland, but I do find it is fascinating to witness it here, because she really is the only she's the only American in the play, and we're doing the play in America. and it's the way in for people, and she's full of optimism, but she really does like put her foot in it often. And so that's really interesting to feel the audiences kind of get to know her and live with her for a little bit. And then by Act 2, she has you. I mean, just like every single other woman in this play, she has lived and she has accumulated all of the life things that make a life hard, and you get to see that, and it's revealed, and I think it's just beautiful. Yeah, beautiful.
We'll hear more about The Loved Ones after a quick break. This is all of it. You're listening to All of It on WNYC. I'm Allison Stewart. We're talking about the play The Loved Ones at the Irish Rep. It's about 4 women find themselves grieving together and facing a new reality. My guests are 3 of the show's actors, Marianne Plunkett, Alana Raquel Bowers, and Claire O'Malley. Marianne, the play takes place sort of in one location, Nell's living room, but other actions take place in other parts, at the Airbnb, in town, and we, the audience, don't necessarily see that. It comes into play later. But what do you like about the action taking place in one room?
I think there's no escape in a way, and it's a compact space. There's not a lot of room for running around or, I'm going to be over here. We're confined. And throughout much of the play, it's raining. And at times, it's sheets of rain just coming down. You can see on the windows. So that makes it even more confined, that whatever happens in here has to be resolved within here. There is a barn that we refer to, but that does not seem like the greatest place to be. And this is, it's a lovely space, but there's not a lot of room for 4 very distinct individuals. We are 4 women who are so different from each other, these characters, and not a lot of elbow stretching room within there, or even mind stretching. Sometimes there are collisions.
As I was watching the play, I thought at the end, no one is a villain in this play, right? But not telling the truth or not reacting to what the truth is about your situation is kind of the villain for each character. Claire, what is your character not dealing with in this play?
Again, how much time have you got? Well, so since Robin has passed, and that's not a spoiler, so since my husband has passed, my goal when I come into this, when I'm here to see Nell, is the first one is to scatter his ashes and for us to have the kind of unification after the terrible funeral. But the other one is to get her blessing on going into IVF. They no longer have any embryos left, but Orla is hopeful that she can still continue on the plan, which was to have his baby. And Orla is dealing with multiple pregnancy losses, 3 miscarriages and 1 emergency C-section at 24 weeks. And it's deeply, deeply sad, and she is just bulldozing her way into trying to hope. So even though she's lived these really, truly difficult times, she's trying so hard to find a glimmer of hope. And this IVF plan, I believe, is her last tiny ember of hope that something good can come from every bit of tragedy that she has experienced. I mean, she really is. I find her profoundly strong when I think about her, like what she has lived through and how she's still able to find that hope.
Alana, you talked a little bit about Gabby not really dealing with being pregnant. Is there a moment in the play when you think the light turns on for her?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. I think all of these women are deeply brave. I think the secrets that they hold are not selfish, but selfless. I think they understand that there are, as most women do, that the world has to continue, and I have to continue in this world as well. So how do I continue to live despite this problem? I still have to show up, whether it be for my son or my job or my or schooling, or, you know, Cheryl Ann also has a terrible grief story that we learn about as well. And how do you continue showing up in the world despite not being able to fully grapple with what is happening within yourself? And so I think what this play does is, at a point, it's sort of everybody comes to their breaking point.
Yeah.
And we get to see how that manifests within each woman. And so Gabby absolutely has a breaking point. We don't necessarily get to know the result, but we do see her grow up a little bit and understand that there is strength in asking for help.
Marianne, you've been in so many plays. People would recognize you right away, and you're married to an actor as well. What was unique to you about The Loved Ones? It was written by Erica Murray. When you read it and you thought, there's something unique here.
Well, first of all, it's about women. You know, a play about women and 4 ages of women. You know, starting young through my age, and dealing with the women as we are. You're the issues within a woman's life, which might be years we call women's issues or whatever. It's life and death issues. As I say, in this contained house, it's about life, it's about death, it's about betrayal, it's about disappointment, and just as the lives of anybody would be. And I really loved being part of what you call 4 people, quadruple, of all ages. And it's and everyone is valid. You know, every age has something to say and something to offer, and the problems may be different, or it may be familiar. For Nell looking at Gabby, but Nell looking at Orla, and then eventually Nell looking at Cheryl Ann in Act 2 of. It's the same. Someone had said something about someone who had seen the show that they were loving it, about the women, and they said, if this had been a play about 4 men, there would probably be dead bodies on the stage with the issues. And they said, and yet these 4 women, it's not like, oh, we're best friends and we're going to live in this house together. There's no resolution. I love that also about the play. There's no resolution. Right. We don't even know if Gabby tells her mother. Yeah. You know, we don't know what happens. We don't know the throwing of the ashes. If Orla is there, there's no resolution, and I love that.
Claire, what is something that director Nicola Murphy-Dubé told you that you use every night?
Oh.
That's a good question.
Oh, wow. I love working with Nicola. So there's so many like nuggets of wisdom that she's given me. I would say like one thing overall is that I guess I know I'm digressing a little bit, but I know we're saying it's all about grief and it's really sad and heavy, but it's also very funny. It's very funny, and that's very Irish. And Nicola always she reminds me, because we're from a very similar place at home in Dublin, to find the lightness and the humour and the heart in the grief as well. And she always says, don't worry about what other people are feeling. Don't worry about what they're feeling, what they're thinking. You do you.
You have an accent. Marianne and Alana, you do not.
Yeah, correct.
Well, you have an accent, an American accent.
Yes.
Yeah. Alana, how did you go about nailing your accent?
Well, I had multiple ways in. Our dialect coach, Barbara Rubin, shout out to her. Incredible to work with, incredible to, she was really able to like meet me where I was and work from there, and was just such a wonderful guide for me. I do have I have a community in England. I've worked there before, and I have two really, really incredible friends who I have sent many a voice note to be like, say this sentence, please. Say this phrase, please. What vowel placement is this in your world? And so, but they, they've been very good friends of mine for years. And so I think that I've been getting really incredible feedback from folks, but something that was told to me yesterday was that it wasn't even the accent, but it's the kind of rhythm.
Oh, interesting.
That exists in that part of England, and I truly dedicate that to my two very good friends, because the rhythm of how they speak lives inside of me, because I hear them, and when they're telling me a story and when it's emphatic and strong, there's a way that they talk. And then when it's like a little bit more mellow and chill, there's another way that they talk. Also must thank my second vocal coach, Michaela Cole. I rewatched Chewing Gum because she is from that part of London.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah. And so her cadence and how she speaks, and the even the gesturing and the facial gesturing, like I did as much research as I can, because I am type A about that when I listen to things. And so I really wanted to give it justice and give that character, again, to make her as authentic as possible. And it started with how she spoke and how she treats language.
How did you do it? How did you do it, Marianne?
Well, again, another shout out to Barbara Rubin. She made it fun, coming up with different words that I might say. They go, well, that's the same sound, or something, and getting the music of it. I think of what language is. When I did with Claire the O'Casey cycle in 2019, and this was Dublin from 1917 to 1923, and it's actually a different sound than say even modern Dublin dialect. And so, but I'm thinking, I have that down. It's like, well, but this is like 2026 or whatever, and it's County Clare, and amazed that certain sounds that I felt very comfortable with, it's sort of, it's different now. It's just, as dialects are. And Barbara made it fun, and I also had it playing in my ears constantly, different people from that county, people either giving tours from the county, from there, and listening. And what the chief thing for me in terms of release is, because when you're learning a dialect, I think maybe it's all type A, I have to get it right. And then you realize there's no right. Because I'll listen to 10 different people on my little recording from the same area, and you go, well, they don't always say that sound that way. They don't. They drop this or they sound this, and you go, it's as long as you get the music, and you just go, stop worrying about perfection. You're a human being, and depending on your emotion, depending on the quickness, depending on how you're feeling, and I love music, and I love the music of language. I'm from New England, and when I go home, I've had to sort of changed how I grew up saying mother, father, Park, you can't have it, type of thing. And it's just, you go, but not everybody.
Yeah.
In my family, they speak differently, even though they all live up there. There are differences within, and that's the biggest thing I think for anyone learning a dialect is if you do it perfection, you don't sound like a real person.
Right.
Right.
The play is called The Loved Ones. It's at the Irish Rep. I've been talking to Marianne Plunkett, Alana Raquel Bowers, and Claire O'Malley. Thank you for coming to the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.